Pete Rose was the obvious, the headliner, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know about the story? You want me to? I can bring it up.
No, go ahead. I mean, and when the funny thing was, I mean, he's played on a few different teams, but when the news story was up, they were like, he's a Philly.
Well, he played for the Phillies for a while, but I think it was the Cincinnati Reds. Was actually
it was mostly with the Reds, right?
Yeah, it was mostly with the Reds. Now Pete Rose, believe it or not, is 76 years old. Did you know that?
Oh,
did you know he was that old?
Wow, I didn't know that. No.
He's 76 years old, which I would have never guessed he was that old. He actually looks pretty good for his age.
Yeah.
So he played baseball from 1963 to 1986. As crazy as that sounds, he started, his rookie year was 1963. I never would have guessed that. Yeah. So,
that's a long time ago, man.
Now,
that's before I was even born, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, before you were born. He's been around. Now, with that being said, Pete Rose has been the subject of controversy for his entire life, it seems like. Because Pete Rose should have been in the Baseball Hall of Fame years and years ago, but because he gambled, he was not, allowed to be part of that. They would not induct him into the Hall of Fame, and they were talking about maybe putting him back in, and now this pops up. Now I just loaded it up. Let's skip this. This is from CBSSports.com. So this is a good thing here. A good site, I guess you could say. Now it says here, Phillies cancel Pete Rose Wall of Fame ceremony amid the statutory rape allegations. He's accused of having a sexual relationship with an underage girl in the 70s, bruh. In the 70s. Now,
what?
Without even reading one thing, what I don't get is why all these years, right before he's going to get put in this Wall of Fame for the Phillies, why in the hell is this girl coming out now, 1 week beforehand, saying that he banged her when, in the 70s? This is 40 years ago, bro. 44 years ago, to be exact.
The chick is setting him up for failure.
Setting him up for failure, exactly.
Yeah.
And I will read real quick what we have here. It says here, and this is CBSSports.com, the Philadelphia Phillies have planned on inducting Pete Rose into their Wall of Fame on August 12th. All right? The key word is had planned, because it no longer seems to be the case. Earlier this week, news surfaced that Rose allegedly had a sexual relationship with an underage woman during the 1970s, or in other words, committing statutory rape, and the Phillies have now canceled the ceremony, with an official announcement being made by the club on Tuesday. So that is 2 days ago, and of course, I'm in Philly, so this became a huge story within, by Tuesday, it was huge. It was all over the place.
Right.
They made all these bobblehead dolls, Buzz, for Pete Rose. I mean, they made a ton of them. And,
oh, my God.
Now, they're not even going to do anything with them. Which initially, as funny as that sounds, those bobbleheads will probably be worth money now because, they're not doing anything with them. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
We're under finding them on eBay or something.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they'll do something because they made them all these. They'll do something with them, but they're not going to, they're not having the ceremony. They're not going to do anything with the bobblehead dolls. But it says here,
they're not going to keep a warehouse full of bobbleheads. They're going to get rid of them.
Well, they're going to have to. Yeah, they're going to have to. But I think for now, they're going to have to hold on to them until this gets figured out. Or, he'll end up in the Hall of Fame after he passes away, I'm sure. That's my guess. But that'll be a shame because, he really should be in there. I really believe that. But I'll get more into the story here. It says, due to recent events, the Phillies and Pete Rose have decided that Pete will not participate in the Phillies Alumni Weekend festivities to be held at Citizens Bank Park from August 10th to August 13th, 2017. Now, I was actually, it's funny, not that this hits home too hard, but Citizens Bank Park isn't far from me. All right? I was actually planning on going to this thing on August, in those 3 days, August 10th, August 13th.
Right.
Because that's the weekend. You know what I mean? August 11th is a Friday, and then August 12th, 13th is Saturday and Sunday. I was actually planning, and I'm not a big baseball fan, but I'm really not. But I like it enough that where I knew this was going to happen, and I get off on the weekends, actually, believe it or not. And I was like, well, that'd be something cool to go do. So I was actually planning on going to this. I've actually been a pretty big Pete Rose fan myself, not because of baseball, but because Pete Rose always show up at the Royal Rumble, in WWE, and Kane would always pile drive him. He would be dressed up as a chicken, and Kane would fuck him up. And then that's what made me like Pete Rose as a kid. That, and he played for the Phillies. You know what I mean? I grew up in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But and it says, and then Rose actually is quoted saying that while I'm truly honored that the Phillies fans voted for me to be in this year's Wall of Fame inductee, I am concerned that other matters will overshadow the goodwill associated with the alumni weekend, and I agree with the decision not to participate. So poor Pete Rose is already, this is why the girl's on the list for me. Why is she waiting till now? If this happened in the 70s, why? Why now? Why didn't you say
she
something?
She heard about the ceremony and was like, I'm gonna make him fail now.
She probably fucking tried to get some money out of him. That's what I'm thinking.
But how could she even prove this?
Well, she can't. She can't prove it. That's the whole beauty of it. She can't prove any of it. She can't prove it unless she admits to it. You know what I mean? Not for something 40-some years ago. She can't prove it, but it doesn't matter. It's just like you. If a kid goes and says his teacher touched him, the teacher didn't touch him. The allegation's still there. It doesn't matter. It's just as bad as if the teacher really did touch him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, if you don't like your 9th grade teacher, and you say, "Oh, my fucking Mr. fucking Hancock touched my cock," Mr. Hancock's getting fired. Period. That's it. You know what I mean? That's how it works. Same thing's happening here. You know what I mean? And it said that here we go. This is the thing about the bobblehead. Here we go. The Phillies will not distribute the Pete Rose bobble figurine giveaway on Friday, August 11th. They will not be distributing them. On Saturday, the Phillies will pay tribute to former Wall of Fame inductees during a pregame ceremony. The weekend's events continue on Sunday with more than 40 alumni being recognized on the field. All fans in attendance for Sunday's game will receive the Wall of Fame card pack. Blah, 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 blah. Now, you know that Pete Rose will still be the biggest thing talked about. This whole thing is already screwed. It's already screwed because people, half the fans are going to be shitting on Pete Rose, and the other half of the fans are going to be cheering for Pete Rose because they know this is a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So while we do put Pete Rose on the list, jokingly, I don't personally think that he's guilty of this. I just don't. You know what I mean? I don't. And even if he is. And this may be something that people don't want to hear, but who the fuck cares? I'm sorry, I hate to put it so bluntly, but this happened 40-some fucking years ago. If this girl was really offended, first off, she banged him willingly, but even if it was, it wasn't said to be a rape thing, or statutory rape, but it wasn't said to be like, you know what I mean? She banged him. If it was that big of a burden on her life, she had 40-some years to talk about it, and only now is she bringing it up?
Fucking bullshit.
So, I think it's bullshit, and I just think you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It just seems like total fucking bullshit to me, honestly. But that's just how I feel on it. I see you feel the same way.
Yeah.
For the people that are listening, please feel free to talk about in the comments, and let us know what you think.